Hello everybody and welcome to your Artemis Season 9. Smite guy gonna be starting it off with, believe it or not, the same items that you're always starting with. Good old Death Toll and that tier 1 mace, because 30 physical power at level 1 is really good. Also gonna be grabbing ourselves the beads, 2 health pots and 2 multi-pots for the sustain in lane. And we will be starting off with our third ability, Suppress the Insolent. And in order to make sure that the video doesn't get suppressed, please make sure that you like and comment on the video on YouTube, and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't yet, and ring that bell for notifications so you never miss a video. Now for Artemis, we are going to be maxing out our 3 first. This is our main poke ability. This is our main wave clear ability.
Good luck.
It is going to be our bread and butter in this kit. Artemis is a team fight / late game focused hunter. Her early game is not her strong suit. You should not expect to thrive in the early game with her. And we are paired with a Geb. And the Geb pairing all but guarantees that we are going to have a downright miserable laning phase as a Geb Artemis versus a Cherry Atlas. They are going to beat us and clear in the worst way, as long as actually Atlas didn't go for the clear super hard there. They kind of grouped a little bit on that. There you go. Now we dash through the wave. Now we got to be a little bit careful. But they did screw up their clear a little bit, so we might as well take advantage of this. We are going to get our root at level 2. You get your root at level 2 because it is both a very good defensive and offensive ability, but now they are going to start pushing back up again. But getting a little bit of pressure early can be very nice, although it does seem that we are getting real cheesecake over in the duo lane. It seems that something went horribly wrong over in mid, and they both died. So we're gonna get absolutely double cheese ganked over in solo, and that is now a 4-0 Fenrir at the 1 minute 30-second marker. So that's gonna be a bummer to try and deal with. But have no fear, for we are a late game hunter. So who cares about the early game? It's only the most important part of the game right now, because then things snowball out of control. But not this game, because we are gonna put our head down, and we're gonna AFK farm, and we're gonna see our team in 25 minutes. So our goal in the early stages of this game is going to be to not get too yoinked by this Atlas. Atlas 2 is very good against all gods that do not have an escape. And on Artemis, we do not have an escape ability. We've got some slow reduction, we've got bonus movement speed, we got CC immunity. So we've got a lot of good stuff in our kit to utilize, but we don't have a way to dash / leap away from the big bad Atlas. Now this Cherry stuck around pretty long here. I'm trying to sneak an auto attack to the side and grab the kill. If he moves back up too quickly, I might be able to get my 3 on him, but I'm not gonna be able to get that last little auto attack on top of him. For the official level order, on Artemis, we are going to be grabbing our ultimate wherever we can. We're going to be going 4, 3, 2, 1 on the Artemis level order. Ultimate whenever you can, because it does increase the damage and stun duration. Your 3, because that is your main form of clear. Your 2, because this is going to increase the power of the stim as well as reduce the cooldown. And then finally your root, which is going to increase the damage and reduce the cooldown. But for the most part, the cooldown isn't actually a relative, it's a relatively not important part of this ability. because you're just going to be using it one time in a team fight anyway to just follow up on your ultimate or try to body block yourself off like we just did right there from the Atlas pull, so he couldn't take us back too far. Now our Wheelix is starting to rotate over. They have the XP advantage on us. Got a nice little rotation here though from the Wheelix. Gonna pop my 2. Looks like Cherry's gonna try to come back to me. Now I'm gonna pop my ultimate, and then I'm gonna throw down my root right on top of him, so it follows up with the 1-2 combo. But I did run out of mana, unfortunately. That is so unfortunate that I get East ulted right there. Kind of a series of unfortunate events, but actually not the worst. A little fight engagement for us, and allows us to back up, and I'll actually wait in base in order to get the full Crusher here. Crusher just gonna give us so much lane presence. Also helps Artemis a lot with the early game clear, because her clear is mediocre at best. For your lane partners on Artemis, you have 2 ways that you can take it. You can go the giving up, winning the laning phase route, which is basically what we did here with the Geb. Geb Artemis, not gonna surprise anyone, not gonna be winning the lane pressure, not really gonna be winning the 2v2 fights in the early game, but in the ultra late stages of the game, Artemis Geb will come online hard if we can make it there without falling too far behind. The other route that you can go is trying to pair somebody with Artemis that does have good early game lane pressure, so that way you do not have to give up the lane in its entirety. This is what I would recommend. I would recommend go ahead and pairing with her something more aggressive in the lane. You've got your Yamojas for clear, you've got your Atlases, even something like a Ymir, just something that brings a little bit more presence to the lane. Because Artemis late game will do plenty of damage, ends up being actually pretty good at keeping herself alive. Her self-peel capabilities end up being quite nice, as long as she doesn't get absolutely railed on in the laning phase. Now, Cherry is right here. I'm gonna actually go for this kill. The thing about Artemis is that if you are right around the 75% HP marker and you have your ultimate up, you can just go for the kill. You have lots and lots of base damage in your kit because of your passive, which gives you that extra 15% increased basic attack damage to gods and 30% to minions that are crowd controlled, which is why your standard combo on Artemis is going to be hitting them with your suppress the insolent. Usually you need to do that in order to get in range. Follow up with an auto attack. Then you can pop your boar. Your boar will go ready, get ready to attack. While your boar is getting ready to attack, you are auto attacking one more time. Then your boar will slap, you auto attack again, and then you put down your root. So you've effectively CC'd the enemy for like 4 seconds straight between your slow, your root, and your stun. So once again, that is 3 auto, ulti auto, 1 auto until dead. And if they're not dead after that, then boy golly, did you catch a big old fish, mister.
Be careful.
This thing is primo.
For gods that we prefer not to go against in lane, we don't like to go against walls, because believe it or not, we don't have a movement ability. So Ymir walls, Yamoja walls, Lord forbid they get an Odin on their team, a Kabrakan wall, they're all very scary to you. You may be fast, but you're not fast enough to get around that wall without them coming for your butt. I'm going to continue to chase down on this Cherry. Try to time the auto on him correctly. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to, but he's going to run towards the tower, so I should be able to finish him off there with a suppress the insolent. and then go take a gander at his purple buff. Walls are your enemy. On top of that, of course, disarms are going to be the enemy of you. So a god like Bologna, very problematic. Usually, Bologna's going to be over in the solo lane, so you won't have to deal with her until the late game. But you do need to watch out for all disarms. If you can save that Busky.
My day isn't complete without a
in order to
circle.
CC immune that disarm if they're coming for you. And that will help you catch your target unawares. But you're going to have to decide what the most important thing on the enemy team is to use for CC immunity. For me this game, I'm probably going to have to end up CC immuning Fenrir ulti. If he's like coming right towards me, brutalized and goes for the ult, I might have to pop an immediate Tusky in order to live through it. But I've also got beads, so I do have the double CC immunity capability. Speak of the devil, Fenrir is going to come right back towards me. I am going to go ahead and use my beads in order to avoid that, because my Tusky had just not quite come up yet, unfortunately. But we are going to be able to grab our Aussie. So Artemis is a auto attack stim-based hunter in a meta where auto attack stim-based hunters are very good. So the build is in her favor by a lot. So this Crusher Aussie start that you see, pretty standard on all of the auto attack stim hunters, Izanamis, Artemis, Apollos of the world. And then we're gonna follow this up right into a silver branch bow, which not only is it stupidly stat efficient by itself, but as we approach the later stage of the game, as we get our stim all the way leveled up for an 80% attack speed stim, it is not impossible for a silver branch bow to turn itself into a 100 power item, which is as disgusting as it sounds. Very, very efficient. Retreat! For an item that also gives you, you know, a bunch of attack speed and a bunch of penetration. Freedom! Pretty much no reason not to get it. One of the better items the hunters have had to work with in a while. Taking this tower from Cherry, gonna continue the pressure on her. Little tidbit for some traps on Artemis. A good way to utilize your traps is to start to cover off the duo lane paths that you're gonna be taking. So if I think I'm gonna be pushing up pretty far here on Cherry, I can put down one trap here and one trap here, and that will kind of block off this path a little bit from getting rotated on in that exact spot. And they kind of work as like a second ward, because you can have up to 3 traps out at the same time. And if somebody goes into your ward, you will know about it. That works both defensively and offensively when you get both those wards out. I'm going to call for a gank right now in the middle lane. I've actually got a lot of pressure over on duo. Tusky, real good at diving towers for us, getting that pressure, so I'm going to come around behind. Unfortunately, the Fenrir is going to show up from the other side at the exact same time that I get there. This is really a bad spot for us to be in, but at this point I need to absolutely commit. She has an Aegis up. We are getting just even more unlucky off of this, and this is going to go horribly, because it looks like we had a 3v3 going on the mid, and we lost the 3v3 before I could even get there, so my ADC rotation did not end up even mattering. Now for your second relic on Artemis, you have 2 options. Really, you have 3 options, depending on how you're vibing. The safest, gonna be Aegis. Aegis, always an easy pickup on your mages and your hunters. Always a safe one. If you're gonna be getting dove, great way to go ahead. Holy, did that Yanis ult kill the Isa from across the map? It sure did. Always a good one to go. Blink for Blink Tuskies, really, really efficient. You blink right in the middle of the team. You ulti. Great way to make sure you're getting 5-man Tuskies off. And one of my personal favorites, Belt of Frenzy. I like to make sure you have one Belt of Frenzy on your team at all times. Your support can pick it up. Your solo laner might be able to pick it up. And if nobody seems to be picking it up, I don't mind picking it up on Hunter. It makes the towers, the phoenixes, the gold fury, the fire giant, everything die so fast. Earlier today, there was a fire giant that I do believe was killed in about 3 seconds flat with the combination of a Anubis and a upgraded Belt of Frenzy. So it becomes real hard to contest objectives if by the time you can see the objective taking damage, it is already dead. When it dies in the time that you're shot calling, oh, they're on the fire. Never mind. It's really awkward, really fast. Also makes your 1v1 against the enemy Hunter really hard for them to beat you in the 1v1. Obviously, if you miss all of your auto attacks, that's on you. But the ability to have that much more attack speed and to stack up your silver branch bow once that all gets going. So not only is it giving you % damage, not only is it giving you attack speed, it's also literally giving you power because it's stacking up your silver branch bow. It's a 3-for-1 deal at Costco. Now we're going to grab our silver branch bow, and we're also going to grab ourselves another sentry ward. And we're going to continue to mostly focus on farming. Not a lot of rotation potential for us here on Artemis. As we move into the later stages of the game, your main priorities as the hunter is to kill the objective. So if we're doing a Gold Fury, I'm the one on Gold Fury. If we're taking a tier 2 tower, I'm the one taking the tier 2 tower. Outside of killing the objective, my next main job is to simply kill whatever in front of me. Not my job to try to dive. Not even my job really to shot call. My main job is just killing whatever the closest target is, whatever the lowest target is in front of me. So right now I'm kind of trying to get over towards the Atlas and the Fenrir because they're both within my range. Atlas walks right into my trap. Now I can turn it around onto the Bologna.
Attack fire giant.
And then we can call for the attack fire giant. Since we've got 5 of us alive, Cherry is over in the left lane. Did not make the rotation. This rotation also brings up a good point, which is, how do I know what I'm supposed to start rotating on Hunter? And the answer is complicated because there's not like a, okay, at this exact time, you're gonna start rotating. It's not like supports right now where you basically are just over in the lane until you can get that first item and then you back and then you kind of don't go back to the dual lane again. It's not like that. As a hunter, it's a lot like the solo lane where what you're thinking to yourself is, if I rotate over to this engagement, 1, am I gonna make it there in time? If you're not gonna make it there in time, don't bother rotating over. It's a waste of your time.
My day isn't complete without a drum
2,
circle.
if I rotate over and I make it in time, does that actually matter? Does that mean anything? Does me showing up actually help? Am I far enough ahead to help? Is our team winning the 3v3 engagements? Is it close? If they had my help, does that mean we win the fight and now we get to go do something? And 3, how much farm is there up in my lane before I go for this rotation? If there's everything up in terms of your farm, chances are you're better off going the farming route instead of the rotating route. If you've just gotten your wave and you just got a side heartbeat camp, then you can actually start rotating over. Gonna pop my ultimate right here so we get this kill onto Atlas. Not the most important kill, but it might start a bit of a wave of snowball of kills. I'm going to call for the attack. I'm going to go right through this portal. We should be able to finish off the E set. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to kill the tower, because it is my job as the hunter in order to kill those objectives. Fenrir's got to be running away. I'm going to go ahead and pop my Belt of Frenzy, and you can see that I'm actually hitting this Phoenix at the 19-minute marker for 261 damage between my Belt of Frenzy, between my Silver Branch Bow, all the flat pen that I have. Absolute objective shredding machine. I'm also going to call for the attack the Gold Fury. My team should start to make their way back. We got the Phoenix. That's the main objective. They've got 2 tier 2s up, which means there's no way for us to go run over and get another objective that fast. So we should go back and get the Oni creeps. In the team fights, if you find yourself getting dove, a good way to annoy melee characters is Artemis. Is to go ahead and throw down a trap right at your feet and then use it as a zoning technique. Start walking right around your trap. You keep them on the other side. They're trying to chase you around. They don't want to run in the trap. Worst case scenario, they pop a preemptive beads and they run into it. But now you've already gotten them to use their beads. And you can hopefully follow up with Tusky and or another root. Getting that root placed down as soon as you can in a team fight by your feet, also going to be helpful, because the sooner you get it placed down by your feet, the sooner you can get that cooldown back up and place down another, because of course you can have those 3 traps down. Now at this point, we have the Fire Giant, we have the Oni creeps. We should be over as a team attacking left lane. We should have been getting more pressure over on the left-hand side of the map. Looks like I'm going to have maybe a 1v1 opportunity over here with Cherry. So I'm just going to start shoving down this lane while the rest of my team is over kind of fighting a 4v4 in right. They've been winning the team fights as of recently, so I trust them over there. And I've got the confidence that if Cherry does try to fight me, I can beat her in the 1v1 over here. So I'm just going to attempt to take her tier 2 tower. My Belt of Frenzy should come up just at the right time in order to take this as well. And we've got Oni creeps pouring into the Titan room, which they're going to have to go defend anyway. Meaning I can't get rotated on. Doesn't even look like I'm going to need to pop the belt right here. So I'm going to keep that up for a different objective if I so need it. They've actually got quite a few people down for another 10 seconds. We've got the pressure over in right. I might get rotated on by a baloney here, but even if I do, that's going to be okay. Gotta pop that Belt of Frenzy just to get a ton of pressure over on this Phoenix. Gonna throw down my ultimate. So Tusky goes and chases the Cherry. And while I will probably end up dying for this, I did actually just get a free Phoenix. While my team also got the Phoenix over in right lane. Extra super duper worth right there. Now I'm gonna grab myself a Death Temper, give me a ton more damage, and now we're at the last item in our build, which really is, I would say, the free slot for hunters right now. This build that you see, very few changes to this build. All the auto attacks in hunters. Every auto attack sim hunter can run this exact build. And then the last item is where you start to get some flexing. It's where you start to get some creativity. Some items that you can look at right off the top of your head. Oboe. Great way to get a bunch more attack speed. You've already got a bunch of power. This is also going to be great against stealth targets. It's also going to be great about putting guardians and those kind of gods in combat so they can't blink on top of you. You've got Bloodforge, huge power spike, and secretly a really good item right now. You're actually going to start seeing more hunters, more assassins pick this up, especially at the later stages of the game. I know certain guys like Panda Cat are huge fans of the Bloodforge. And you also have the option of going a late game crit item. It seems weird to get crit this late in the build, but honestly, if they haven't built anti-crit, if they're not building spectral armors, if they're not building Hive the Nemean Lions because they're like, oh, nobody on their team has crit, and then you sneak in a last item Deathbringer, you still get that 30% crit chance from Deathbringer. the amount of DPS increase that you can see from that one item is, I would say mathematically, probably the highest of any item in the game in terms of actual PvP damage. You just have to realize you're only gonna have 30% crit, but that basically means 1 in every 3 autos because of the crit rework that Smite did to crit, where it basically doesn't let you go on really bad streaks anymore. Which was kind of actually a benefit for lower crit chance builds than it was for higher crit chance builds. Here at the very end, we should be able to just basically run into the Titan room. I'm gonna pop a Belt of Frenzy. Looks like Fenrir is gonna jump right on me, and I'm gonna get grabbed by an Atlas, but I do have the Aussie proc, keeping me alive through most of that, and they will not be able to defend their Titan. So like we talked about in that last lot, you got Odo, you got Bloodforge, you got Deathbringer. If you want more pen, you also have Dominance, which is a great item. If you buy the Dominance with the Silver Branch Bow, it's actually 45% pen on your auto attacks because the Dominance passive does overcap on percent pen. So if they've got a super tanky team, that is also an option, guys. Remember, Artemis early game, not great. Try to pair her with a more aggressive support so you can go through, win that laning phase. You get her into the late game team fights. Tusky will do half of the work for you, and you don't need crits to do a lot of auto attack damage with your Artemis, guys. And that is your Season 9 Artemis guide. Don't forget, of course, to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.